It's Chuck introducing RunJS, an MCP server written in .NET that lets LLMs securely generate and execute arbitrary JavaScript with fetch and JSONPath queries. You can download this Docker container and fire it up yourself locally. Let's take a look at how it works. Here you can see we are going to start our MCP server locally. Okay, our server is started, and on the right hand side you can see we have a web application that lets you use this as a workbench. And you can imagine we have a secret value here. This could be an API key, for example, for a REST endpoint that we want to access. And rather than passing this actual value to the LLM, what we can do instead is we can store the secret with the MCP server, like this right here. And instead of handing this in plain text to the LLM, we are going to give the LLM the reference to the secret instead. Now here, we are just going to make an API call to HTTP bin that will reflect our request back at us. And here, you can see, is our generated JavaScript and the response from the execution of the JavaScript. And here is the result that we get back from the call, because we've explicitly asked for the full result. Now, what we can also do is imagine that this is a large payload and we actually just want to grab a piece of the information, or we want to extract some data. We can say here, use JSONPath to extract the trace parent. As an example, here is an example payload. So what we do is we give the LLM an example so it knows how to generate the JSONPath query. And if we run this again, we'll see we get a all new snippet of JavaScript here that includes a JSONPath statement here to extract the value of the trace parent. So the MCP server executes this JavaScript, including the JSONPath, and extracts the value from the backend. Now, this is really powerful, not only because we can generate and execute arbitrary JavaScript, including using JSONPath. What's really cool about this is that if we look at the actual source over here, you can see because we are using Gent to actually execute the JavaScript inside of a embedded runtime in .NET, it's actually being interpreted. And we can control the amount of memory that the JavaScript has access to, the timeout for the execution of the JavaScript, the maximum number of statements, and additional limits and constraints for the execution of the JavaScript without having to start up another virtual machine or deploy any additional infrastructure aside from our backend. And not only that, we can also load JavaScript libraries into the runtime. So in this case, we've loaded JSONPath Plus directly into .NET, and it is being interpreted in .NET, in this .NET runtime. So this is a really cool, really powerful way to let your LLMs be able to generate and execute arbitrary JavaScript, including using fetch to access your existing APIs or any remote API. And what's really great about it is that you can keep your secrets actually secret from the LLM and just replace the values in the MCP server with the integrated secrets manager. So check it out if you have a use case where you need to let your LLM go wild and access remote APIs with secret API keys. RunJS is the perfect tool for you.